I come to you with roughly 20 plus years in the IT industry, so I'll look forward to not only questions and conversations while I'm up here, but when the presentation's over and questions are done, I'd be more than happy to have some one-on-one conversations if you guys would like to talk further. Okay? All right, so today we're going to talk about transforming traditional IT and what that looks like. I'm going to build this slide out here for you real quick here. Okay, does this look familiar to everybody out there? It should, because most of you probably have this architecture in-house today in your data centers. What I've got here is we've got traditional IT apps and VMs at the top layer. We've got some file and object off to the left there. We've got our backup environment off to the right. We've got some type of storage environment, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Could be a myriad of different arrays, different vendors, all attached to what we call a SAN, or a storage area network. Look familiar? Okay. This architecture has been a great architecture for us in the IT industry over the years. However, what has happened now, it has become too complex and too hard to manage. As our data has been growing, and it continues to grow today, we're no longer talking terabytes. We're starting to talk petabytes in just about every customer. And if you're not talking about it today, think 5 years from today. Where do you see yourself from a data growth today and then 5 years today? My guess is you're going to be talking near petabyte range yourselves. So, I'm going to separate this out into 4 different areas. And I want to talk to you about what is the technical debt of an environment like this, and what the technical debt looks like today. So typically, in any IT organization, we have what's called IT projects. Now those projects consist of capacity upgrades, refreshing assets, data migrations, extremely painful, right? Every 3 to 5 years, you've got a particular array that needs to be refreshed, and we've got X amount of storage, and we've got to figure out a way to have no downtime, not impact our users, and get that data over in a change control window that lasts about 2 hours. Has this happened to anybody in the room? Yes. Advanced Auto, I had people that were full-time doing nothing but data migrations. Very painful. On top of the IT projects, we've also got to do maintenance, right? We've got to do software upgrades, firmware upgrades, hotfixes, patches. But now what comes from these maintenance tasks and these IT projects is outages. We talked a little bit about some of those outages, right? Some of them are planned. That's when we're actually doing these upgrades and data migrations. When we're doing software and firmware upgrades, hotfixes. These are planned outages. We know what's going to happen. But unfortunately, what happens in an architecture like we traditionally have today is we don't know all the dependencies and interoperabilities of each of the stack layers, and something gets missed. And that's when we have unplanned outages. And those are the painful ones. So, all of these tasks here, projects, outages, maintenance, make up roughly 80% of the technical debt that we have in our IT departments today. So what does that mean? That roughly means that we're spending 80% of our day, 80% of our week, 80% of our month, 80% of our year keeping the lights on, managing this environment. Does everybody agree with me with that? Can you out there think about the tasks you do on a day-to-day basis? Do you feel yourself just maintaining your environment versus improving it? So what does that do for us? Well, it only leaves us 20%, right? So it leaves us 20% to actually work on the business projects at hand, right? So the business projects are what helps us talk about new revenue streams, talk about enhancing feature sets to our customers. If we only have 20% of the time doing this, what ends up happening is the business starts to go out and look for these services on their own. And then we start to worry about security concerns too, right? How many people are aware of Dropbox? How many people use Dropbox? How many people are concerned that there are security concerns around their users using Dropbox within their environment? Yeah. So that is just a small example of what can happen when we start to neglect what the business really needs. So here today, I'm going to kind of lay out what the DellEMC and really what the industry is starting to do today to mitigate this and actually flip these numbers around. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, right? What we want to do is we want to start to get rid of this technical debt and start to drop this down and increase our business project or our business focus. So, DellEMC Advantage, why are we here? Well, we're here to help you guys tackle this issue that you guys have. And what we want to do is we want to take the dollars that you have today, the budgeted dollars that you have today, or the budgeted dollars that you are planning for fiscal year 18, and we want to help you optimize the environment. As we start to optimize this environment, we're going to start to see this technical debt go down, okay? When we get the environment optimized to a certain point, we can then start to invest in newer technology and, again, start to help our business processes and take this technical debt from 80-20 down to 60-40 or 50-50. Or wouldn't it be great if we were only spending 20% of the time managing the environment and 80% of the time doing the cool things? Right? I know that's what I want to do. Okay, so the modern data center. What is it going to take to create a modern data center? We've got to keep that in mind also, right? So not only do we have to optimize, but we've got to make sure that it's modern. Flash technology has come a long way, and that's one of the first pillars that we're considering as part of the modern data center. So Flash, as we know, the fastest spinning disk out there today is 15K, right? It's been that way for how long? Many, 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 many years, right? And we were all, back in the day, we were all very excited about how fast that drive could go. We're talking 180 IOPS per disk. Woo! That baby's fast, isn't it? Flash. What are we talking? Anywhere from 3,500 IOPS. It's over 10,000 IOPS per disk. A magnitude of order of speed, right? So, good stuff there. So we need to look at Flash. We need to talk about Flash. We need to have Flash into our environment. Scale out. We talk data migrations. We don't want to move data around anymore. We want data to move on its own. We don't want outages for our clients when we're doing data migrations. We want 100% uptime. We want failover and resiliency within a scale-out architecture. We don't want to scale just capacity. We want to scale compute and memory. Because if we scale just capacity, what's that mean? Sooner or later, the compute and memory is going to bite you in the long run, right? Because when is the last time you put any kind of technology in your place and you didn't start to use up those resources? The fastest, as soon as you drop any kind of technology into your data center, the fastest that solution will ever operate is day one.